Well, the farming sector of the ag economy is facing several challenges right now, not least of which is depressed grain prices that are weighing on profitability. But American Farm Bureau economist Danny Munch told us that, without a doubt, the biggest headwind facing agriculture right now is rising input costs.
Record input costs for 2025, and we've already gotten some estimates for crop production expenses for 2026 that show those further increasing. And it's in, a lot of your fertilizers, marketing, transportation, labor, interest expenses. Those are all still weighing heavy on our producers. On the other side of the equation, price is not really improving, and we're not really seeing the demand opportunities open that we were hoping for. We do see increases in exports of a lot of products to non-traditional trading partners, Colombia, Southeast Asia, Indonesia, Vietnam, but really not making up the gap that we need to boost prices up enough in the United States to support a lot of our row crop producers.
With the financial challenges farm families are facing, Danny says that more families are relying on off-farm income to keep farming operations afloat.
77% of farm household income came from off-farm sources. The median farm-related income in the country was a loss of $900 per farm, which means half of farms are losing more than $900, half of farms are getting higher than that. The off-farm income statistic, though, is close to $80,000 a year. Over time, producers have taken on off-farm jobs to sort of supplement and stabilize their income. That provides a more reliable paycheck, also often provides benefits, things like health care and retirement benefits.
There have been many calls for Congress to step in and provide additional aid to the farming sector above what the Trump administration has already committed, but Danny says that's going to be a tough sell on Capitol Hill.
We have had multiple ad hoc disaster programs come out of the previous administration and this administration to help support farmers through natural disasters. If we remember back to the American Relief Act, there were $30 billion set aside for farmers in that bill. You have this new money, $12 billion in the Farmer Bridge Assistance Program, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, $65.6 billion in investments over 10 years. So a lot of money has gone out the door. So one of our challenges is finding appetite from senators and congressmen who might not be as connected to agriculture to provide even more assistance for our farmers. And that's where I think some of the struggle with why we didn't get it into this most recent funding package is there's a little bit of farmer fatigue. So we really have to work hard. We have to build a coalition to make sure that, that story is really being told.
Stay with us. We're going to switch gears and talk dairy for a moment after a word from our sponsor.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.
Well, we don't often talk about the dairy industry, but there's been some big changes over the last several years with breeding beef genetics onto dairy cows that's actually making beef a bigger part of dairy profitability. Danny Munch with the American Farm Bureau says ranchers need to keep an eye on the dairy industry as the need to replace an aging dairy herd could affect beef markets.
Over 80% of dairy farmers have started to use beef genetics in their operation, to the point where beef is starting to be the main reason why a lot of our dairy farms are profitable. So dairy farmers are holding on to these milk cows that they usually would cull as they become less milk productive. So we have the highest milk cow inventory since 1990. But because those are being bred for the beef supply, we aren't breeding replacement milk cows. We have the lowest milk heifer replacement since 1978. There could be a correction in the future, and that could impact both beef and dairy markets.
Thanks for joining us for today's report. I'm Coulter Brown, Northern Ag Network.